I'm about to answer a number of questions regarding the restructuring and insolvency regime in Indonesia. Now, Indonesia is a jurisdiction which sometimes gets a bad press from a restructuring and insolvency perspective, and frankly, often that is justified. But that's only half the story. I think the Indonesian restructuring process, PKPU, has developed very, very rapidly over the last 10 years. And it's developed from a position where it was effectively never used to one where it has become a mechanism which is regularly used for restructuring the debts of an insolvent Indonesian company. And that means that we now have a position where the PKPU process is well understood, where there is a degree of certainty as to how the process will work in practice, and where Indonesian creditors in particular feel far more comfortable using the process to drive a restructuring. So the PKPU process has developed and it's here to stay. Now, there are clearly still issues in relation to the treatment of international creditors. There's clearly local bias, and there are clearly issues in relation to corruption. But my expectation, I think the expectation of a lot of others who are involved in the Indonesian restructuring market is that slowly but surely over the next 10 years, those issues will start to be resolved. Indonesia is a rapidly developing economy. It has a very young population, and it has huge untapped natural resources. It's the fourth largest population in the world, scheduled to overtake the US at some point during this century. And so it's an economy which is developing and growing in that way and has an expanding middle and consumer class, needs an effective mechanism to work out corporate distress. The Indonesian government itself is also developing. Indonesia has only been a democracy since 1998. After the fall of Suharto in 1998, a lot of the Indonesian government institutions were damaged, and the Indonesian judiciary was also in a very weak situation, but those government institutions are redeveloping, re-emerging. The Indonesian judiciary is going through the same process. And I would expect that as the Indonesian government, economy, judiciary matures, there's some of the problems which international creditors have encountered with the PKPU process will start to be ironed out.